Hey, Edgar community. My name is Megan, and I am your trusted onboarding coach here. And I'm really excited to get this webinar going about how to use video effectively for your social media strategies. So, this is going to be a webinar. I'm going to switch over to a presentation mode here in a minute. But I wanted to pop in here and say, hey, my colleague Christina is going to be running the chat. It'll be over on the left-hand side of your screen. So super duper excited for her to be able to answer all your questions. Now, we love, love, love engagement on these. Of course, you know, social media is all about keeping the social and social. So pop on over there and let us know where you are tuning in from, who you are, all of that fun kind of stuff. And we would love for you to ask questions throughout this. Share your own practices on what you've seen work well for your video, everything that you're really excited about in your upcoming projects you're working on, so we can all create a community and help each other out here. So we do have a couple minutes here until the webinar starts. Like I said, introduce yourself. Christina's in the chat over there. My name is Megan, and I'm going to now share my screen with you here so that we can kind of hop on into the good stuff and start chatting video and social media. So let me do that now. We'll have a second here where it looks a little funky. So thanks for your patience there. And we'll go into presentation mode here. Cool. So like I said, please go ahead, pop in, ask your questions. We are going to get started today talking and focusing on a really fun topic, and that is going to be video marketing on social media. So as you guys know, authenticity with social media is one of the biggest things that we like to focus on at MeetEdgar when we talk about creating really effective social campaigns. And I feel like whenever you talk to people about video and talk to people about all of this great traffic you can gain from it, we hear a lot of excuses that can come out of it. And today we are here to bust through those silly excuses and to really get you guys feeling comfortable about getting on camera and connecting with your audience in a super authentic way. And know that you're not alone. Everyone has those fears. Like I said, go ahead and share your struggles and help each other out with what you're working on. It really is great to create a community here and to be able to know that we are all in this together. So it is coming up here to the time where we are going to start our webinar. So like I said, ask your questions, pop on over there, and we will go ahead and get on started. So our first topic here is going ahead and busting through those excuses. I get it. Cameras do really weird things to people. When you get in front of them, you kind of forget what is going on, and you're not alone in this thought. But remember, there is nothing more uncomfortable when you're watching a video than seeing someone on screen feeling uncomfortable, feeling nervous, all of that jazz that makes you kind of scrunch up and say, oh gosh, this person's so nervous. I want to hear their message, but I just feel that emotion coming over. So no one of the biggest things you can do is just have that confidence on the screen. Your viewers want your message, so smile and relax. These sort of things that you can do to send signals to your body saying, hey, body, we are here to have some fun, will come across in your actual speech patterns. For example, right now, I'm trying to keep a real big smile on my face as we're doing this, and it's hopefully conveying that upbeat message that we want to connect with you and we want to have this relaxed conversation with you when we are doing these webinars. So just breathe and get your trustworthy vibes out there on camera. And I know it sounds a little bit silly, but you can even do some things like, hey, tape a picture of your best friend or a family member onto your computer screen when you're talking to it, so it comes across as just a conversation. Because again, social media, people are here to have conversations and connect with each other. And the more that you can just get comfortable on camera, the better and better you're going to see your progression with your videos that are just for you, and watch yourself back. It's going to be a little bit weird at first. Everyone hates how they sound, how they look on camera, but please know and please remember that the more you watch yourself, the more likely it's going to be you'll get comfortable with this mindset. And you can go as far as I mentioned as doing this with your family, standing in front of a mirror, sending it to people you trust at first to get their feedback. Because a lot of the time we're in our heads and the things we say to ourselves are not really what is being convinced here. So remember, it is just like a real life conversation when you're doing anything on video with social media, and everyone started somewhere. So find someone who you really like their vibe on their videos, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, and study what they do. Learn from the experts out there. Take some classes on it. Know that people aren't just born for on screen. It's something that takes a lot of work. So jumping a little bit further, I want to kind of go on this idea of work and discipline. Now, I love this quote here. This is related to writing, but I think it really translates well into it when you're just getting started with video. And that is this quote saying, "I wanted to be a writer for a decade before I became one. All it took was a decision. At some point, you have to look at yourself and say, I am a writer or a video creator, and then start doing it by just doing it every single day. And when you create a video every single day, you're going to strengthen that discipline. And you can use that better self-discipline to basically achieve anything in life. So the bottom line when we're thinking about this is just start making videos. It will become easier and easier the more you do this. And the only way to get comfortable is to see yourself on camera, like we said before. And the real reason you don't like it is because you don't have that discipline of doing it more and more. So find your natural voice, find your natural tone, have it in your style guide, take some time to develop who you're speaking to, your core audience, and slowly and every day just build up that comfort level. If you don't want to do it on camera to start, practice just a discipline, like I said, in front of the mirror, or take some videos and start editing them, and just get comfortable with the medium and concept in this disciplined practice. And as you're kind of going throughout your day too, remember the conversations that you've had with people that have really inspired you or really taught you something. And just when you're creating your videos, have these same conversations with your audience. I do a lot of things where I have a note on my phone where I essentially just, in my daily life, if I have a great conversation or a spark comes to mind that I'm like, oh, I really want to talk about that, I jot it down in that note. This is a really great way that you can keep it fresh and keep things and ideas flowing throughout the day. So you're not sitting down in that kind of writer's block mode going, oh my gosh, I have nothing to post about. No video content is going to be great for this. So go creative with it. Think about these ways that you connect with people in your real life and use those same concepts to create a disciplined and consistent habit of just getting comfortable creating video. So why one of the biggest reasons that I really want to kind of hone in on video with your social media marketing is because it is the best way to build authenticity. So authenticity, what it is kind of referred to, I heard this on a podcast and I really loved it. And that is authenticity is saying something that other people are thinking but are afraid to say. And video is a great way to get that message across to your followers and have them as that kind of, oh my gosh, me too, I'm thinking that too moment, which is going to create a really, really great bond with your audience. And it really just takes practice of doing this in real life and on video. And it's going to be a really awesome thing to up-level your entire marketing strategy with your author. And to be authentic, you really need to share and tell who you are. And this is going to be huge in social media because social media is going to be for humanizing your brand. So think about what channel you're on and think about what we're doing right now. We are on a channel called YouTube. The word you is in the name. So it is kind of inspiring and imploring you to put yourself in your videos and to put your unique voice and style and personality in there so your brand becomes something that people associate with actual humans behind it. Because remember, people know, like, and trust humans, and they buy from brands that are really have that humanistic vibe that they know they can trust, that you're there for them if something goes wrong or if they have a question. Another thing that this authenticity is really awesome for is really speaking directly to your audience. You don't want to create videos that you think will be great for everyone on the internet. It's kind of this idea that you want to create a video or any kind of content directly to your audience. If you make a video focused for everyone, not everyone is going to love you. But if you make a video focus for your specific tribe, your specific community, those people are going to love it. And that's how you build a really strong following on social media. So find your voice, talk straight to your audience, and forget about the rest of the people who aren't going to connect with your content and your message. It is all about using things like your Facebook demographics, like your Twitter insights, to get to know what your audience is interested in. These things, guys, are such powerful tools where you can find out things like people's favorite TV shows, other brands your followers follow, stuff like that, that gives you this holistic idea of who you're speaking to. And the more specific language you can speak directly to them with, the more likely it is you'll be able to connect in a way that they know, like, and trust you. And when you're starting to develop video, and especially when you're doing it live, take that minute and know if you screw up, if something goes wrong, no biggie. Just admit it to your audience, admit if you're nervous, and remember, perfect is so boring. People relate and find uniqueness and know, like, and trust people who are real and don't just kind of default to needing to be perfect all the time. Everyone knows that those imperfections in life make people way more interesting. So relate to humans on that real level and have that confidence that it is okay to start slowly and build up your skills. And video, really, guys, is an awesome way to get another touch point with your audience. We talk about this a lot, this concept that it takes about 7 touch points to create brand loyalty on social media. And video is going to be huge so that people remember when it comes time to that they need your product in their buying journey. This video is one of those strongest touch points where your face will actually come to mind, or when they're trying to recommend a product to a friend, your face will come to mind. The human connection is going to make it so much more likely they are going to choose your brand, your product, your service over someone else's. And it's going to really help make sure that you're really making sure people are following you first on Facebook, or really excited about seeing when your content pops into their feed, because you're a brand people want to hang out with. They know there's a human behind it. You know, a lot of the time on social media, people are there to connect with their friends and family, right? So the more that your posts can kind of ease into their feed with the same friends and family feel to it, the more likely it is they're going to continue following you. People aren't on social media just to follow brands and get a lot of product announcements all the time. So think about how you can diversify your video content and be a brand, again, that people want to hang out with as a friend. So why can people consume your content on social media when it comes to video, when you're sharing all of these other text contents, maybe like your blog posts and all of that fun stuff? Well, you want or producing content for people to watch it in their preferred medium. So producing video is a great way to do what we call avoiding content fatigue. So you have so much great content out there. You guys are creating all this evergreen content that can be shared out over and over on your feeds to really connect with your followers and give them that value. But let's be real, sometimes that old content might get a little bit stale. So you can do things like take your old blog post and think about how you can now maybe turn that into a video, commenting about how you created it in the past, or why you still love it now, or what you feel about it. You know, how you still use the concepts that are in that blog post. And this will remind people that going back into the archives of your old evergreen content is a stellar thing for them to do, because you have all of that information right there ready to be consumed at their fingertips. And I don't know about you guys, but I retain information when I hear it and I watch it far better than when I read it. People are different when they're like, no, if I'm learning, I need to read and write. Listening doesn't do it. So think about, you want to produce content that your followers can consume in their preferred method. So if someone doesn't like reading necessarily, you can still give them all of your awesome value-added content in a form that they're going to connect with better. So give all your followers a way to consume your content, the means in which they prefer, online, on video, or in your blog post. Last but not least here, remember, we are human beings and our brains are wired to crave eye contact, especially when we are making this choice around if we trust someone or not. And this can extend to brands too. It's kind of evolutionarily built into us that when you're looking at someone's eyes, it creates a really good bond. So remember to look at that camera, look at your followers, have them have that eye contact with you, and you can communicate so much through your eyes even. Think about when you're looking at a picture of someone smiling, picture of someone frowning, you can probably see it even in their eyes, even if you don't see that bottom half of your face. So video here can help people really trust you when you get that eye contact going. So think about ways, again, that you can upcycle your content and really get a lot more out of maybe that great blog post you wrote by turning it into a video, or little snippets from your day by turning those into your video content so people can get to know, like, and trust you in the medium they prefer. Stories, stories, stories. So speaking about how our brains are wired, another thing to keep in mind is our brains crave stories. Kind of taking it back again to the evolutionary perspective, think about how information has been passed down throughout the ages. We have things like fables and we have things like novels and stories because our brains are wired to retain that information so much better. So when you're making your video content, think about things like telling a personal story in there. It will work wonders to make and remember that information. So one of our MeetEdgar colleagues, Tanya, actually went to this conference recently, and she brought back this little gem of information here that I thought was so relatable to me. And this is the idea that when we are producing video, or if we're in a nervous state like this, a lot of the time our default will be to fall back on this idea of just go, 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 information mode, blah, 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 stories and sharing personal stuff, that doesn't matter. I'm going to really just stick to this information. And if you've been following along on our webinars a lot, you've probably seen a transformation in the way that I'm trying to put a lot more of my own stories in here, because I default to this idea of, oh gosh, information only. But that information isn't going to be retained unless you have kind of some stories behind it. So it's not a waste of time to share a little bit about yourself, even if it's not related to your marketing strategy, because that information you'll give people after that story, well, because they have a real human to connect with, and they have that sort of grasping mode where they're able to be like, oh yeah, that person is the one who taught me this. So think about the ways you can actually tell your story within every video you're making. For example, the founder of MeetEdgar, Laura Roeder, is really great at this, about sharing our own creation around why the tool was built. This works really well because it fits right in line with who our audience is. Edgar is a small business, and Laura started out as a content creator. She had an educational business, and she shares it out in this idea that I was in the same boat that all of you are in. I was producing so much content, and I was realizing I was spending so much time getting it out on social media, logging into my Twitter, my Facebook, my LinkedIn to distribute it, when that content could have been spent time actually working on my business and creating more value for my followers, rather than just posting for them. So she created Edgar out of her own need for it. And then as the tool started to evolve, she was hearing from people, hey, we could use a tool like this too. This is a great idea. And that's how Edgar kind of became from an educational business into a SaaS company and a tool that you can use. And having that story relates to our followers, because so many of you out there are small businesses who are like, yeah, I create so much content, but I find that I have to spend so much time distributing it. And you can kind of latch onto her own story and know that this product was built with your specific needs in mind. So that's just a really great example about creating a positive sentiment around your product and around your service by sharing your voice and sharing your story. So think about things like how you could share how your Facebook account went from 0 to 100 followers or something. Maybe it doesn't sound super interesting to you, but your story matters and it should be heard by your followers. So think about how you can create that hero's journey, add your personal story in there to really connect and relate with your community. All right, so the last half of this webinar here, I want to shift modes a little bit and dive right into some content creation ideas when it goes into creating videos. So no excuses at the end of this webinar. I want you all to get ready to start making some videos. Remember, practice, practice. The more you get comfortable with this, the easier these ideas are going to become. And now you'll have no excuses and this idea that you don't have anything to post, because we're going to go through a bunch right now. So think about how your brand can start incorporating some of these concepts into your overall strategy. First and foremost, educating your audience. People love to be entertained as well as educated on social media. So provide them with that value of what your product or service does, or how-to videos are really great for this too. You can do screen shares. You probably have a lot of these how-to videos in your help center already. So think about how you can repurpose them and share them out on Facebook and Twitter. Also, make sure your followers are getting most out of your product. If there's some little known way that your product can be utilized a little bit better, your followers deserve to know that. So you're able to kind of control the narrative on who and what your product is good for when you create these educational and how-to videos. So think about some things that you can really get in there and start sharing with that has to do with educating your audience on product and service use. Next, this is going to lead into talking about a product launch. If you guys are adding features or creating a new product, or if you're a restaurant with a new menu item, let your followers know in a video. Hop on camera, tell them all the hard work that went behind into building that feature, and ask for their feedback. Video interaction is great, and there's so much money spent on product development these days when you could hop on a quick Facebook Live and ask people how they're using your product and share with them what you guys are getting ready to launch, and build up that anticipation, and followers can get excited right along with you. So next, how you move through your day. So these day in a life videos are awesome. I'm sure if you all have seen them on YouTube, on Facebook, it's a great way to get to know someone. And we crave getting to know people. We are humans. That human to human connection is so huge. So think about a lifestyle video and some hacks you can share with your followers about, hey, this is my morning routine. Or, hey, this is how I save time and make a bunch more money for my business using this tool, or going throughout my meetings like this. Take someone through your day, film stuff. Remember, it doesn't have to be anything that is hugely groundbreaking. You can just document stuff that's unique to how you do a specific task. And that will really help your followers not only get to know you, but get some value out of your day in the life videos. Inspirational content. So diversifying your content with inspirational quotes is a really great thing to do on social media. We chat about it a lot. Everyone is really wired to love being happy and inspirational and getting that emotional contact. It really is the fastest way to grow your business online when you're providing this array of content that's not just blog post after blog post, but you get a little bit more of those social, happy, inspirational posts out there. So you can still do this using video even. You can read off some of your favorite quotes, or even use a tool like there's a great one out there called Ripple. And it's really awesome because you can actually create like overlays on your video. So you can have like some background B-roll video of maybe you going and walking down the street, and then have this inspirational quote over it that kind of gets a vibe out. This is who I am. This is how I think, and inspire your community to get going on the rest of their day. Next is going to be industry trends. So trends are huge in social media. If there's something going on in your business and industry, you want to show that you are in a city and you keep up. You are a boss who knows your niche, who is so excited about getting out there and adding your voice to the conversation. So research what news is going on. Talk about everything that you see going on your competitors' pages, stuff like that, and what questions you have about the industry so you can have a conversation with your followers about it. So really think how you can capitalize on what people might be searching for now. Because remember, YouTube is actually a search channel at the end of the day too. So if you can add a discussion item to your YouTube channel that someone might be Googling or someone might be searching on YouTube for, it's going to help your content show up in those results, gain more followers. And diversifying your content like this is really cool because we've seen really great success with it. And this idea that we, of course, are a social media company, but we talk a lot about a remote work culture as well because we're a remote team. And this can bring in some followers who might be more interested in learning about running a remote company when they're not maybe as interested in our social media strategies, but they know the content we put out there is still going to be really helpful for them. So they might follow along for that different content that we produce. So it doesn't have to be always directly related to your product as well. So focus on industry trends, focus on diversifying it, focus on what people are talking about now, because people are most likely searching that online, and you can add your own unique voice, your own spin, and really get your thought leadership out there. So, next is book reviews. Guys, people are always asking for recommendations on what to read, and you can add in some of your favorite books in a quick video. Share the tactics you've learned from them, how you've actually used them in your life, and give your own spin on the book and what you think about it. Again, adding in your opinion will help people get to know you as a person. And this is kind of a cool concept if you think about it, because you could do it on a monthly basis, even, and have like an online book club people to engage with it. Tell them what you're going to be reading that month, and that at the end of the month, you're going to do a quick video chat, and you would love for people to read along with you and share their own thoughts. So again, getting that meaningful engagement and back and forth is really awesome with your audience. Successes, failures, and tactics to get through them. This, guys, is going to be great for that behind the scenes content. Pull the curtain back. Don't make your followers make the same mistakes you did. Share what you learned from your failures. Be a real human. We are all not perfect. And share your successes as well, so they don't have to reinvent the wheel if you already have something that works so well that you know will help them. Again, behind the scenes content is huge on social media, because the people and your followers are thinking, hey, I'm getting something that the entire rest of the world isn't by following this page. And it'll really help them continue to follow along with you. Blog post intros. So our founder, Laura, does this really cool thing called Live with Laura, where she will go on Instagram, she'll go on Facebook Live, and she'll chat about our most recent blog post that's been released. This, again, not only helps people consume the medium in the way they want, but it gets that face time, and it gets that really great traffic bump when you can put the link in the comments of the actual blog post and drive more traffic to your site, but utilizing videos so your content isn't always just shared with link preview after link preview. So think about all the content you already have and how you can share that through a video. User-generated testimonials. So when we are choosing a brand or service or product, we like social proof as humans. We like to see that our friends have used it. We like to see that a lot of people who are successful have used it. And we like to hear not only from the company itself, but from people who aren't necessarily going to benefit from us buying that. And that's going to be other users of the product. So think about some of your power users or people who are really great brand advocates, and ask them to maybe make a video with you or hop on a Facebook Live with you to talk about why and how your product has helped them in life. If you get these awesome user-generated testimonials, you can get that really great positivity going with someone outside of your company, which is just going to make people feel that much more comfortable of handing over those credit card details of purchasing your product, knowing that it's worked for people in the past. Company culture videos. So this is awesome, kind of related to what we were talking about with our remote work style. It's a great way to share your company values, because especially as we go into these saturated markets, a lot of the time how people differentiate which brand they're going to buy from and be really loyal to is related to if it's a good company. So share the values that your team uses to create this really great internal company structure, so people want to buy from really awesome, great brands who have good values behind them. Collaborations. So this is really cool, guys, because you can not only get eyes from your followers, but if you come else in your industry, someone who has a similar message to share, they're going to probably share that video with their followers too. So this is kind of doubling the reach and the traffic that your content is going to get. So if you do a nice interview that you're sharing on social media, ask that person you're collaborating with to share it on their own social media as well, so your brand can then get their audience's eyes on it, and people can get to know you from a different perspective. So reach out, do some research on people you would love to talk to, so you can get, again, even more of that traffic going. Episodic content. So when you guys are thinking about creating videos, an awesome thing to do is to create ones that kind of go back to back, so leading one day into the next. And this is going to be really great because it gives people a reason to come back and watch your next video. So after you're ending a certain video, if you can then say, hey, and tune in tomorrow, we're going to be chatting about XYZ. It's a natural progression that people are like, oh yeah, I do want to learn that. And it kind of breaks it down if someone doesn't have an entire hour to sit there and watch your webinar or something, that they can actually just get it on short 15-minute bursts throughout the week and get that really great kind of episodic tune in to your TV show kind of vibe to it. All right, so last slide here on content creation ideas. We already know that you guys probably get a lot of questions from your followers, from people who use your product or service. You already know their pain points and product questions because they're coming into your support inbox. People are calling and asking questions. So get your team involved and have your support team answer some of those most commonly asked questions on a quick video. Give people a reason to know that, hey, this is how much we care about about people who are writing into us, and we want to make sure that your pain points are always solved. So it's going to be a really valuable piece of content as well, because it gets the rest of your team really excited about getting on behind the awesome product or service that you are making. So next is going to be really relating and speaking to your audience on what their pain points are. And again, this is going to go back to knowing who your followers are. So jump into those analytics, find out about what your support team deals with every day, and bring these core concepts into your speaking. You know, we're a SaaS business here at Edgar, so we get a lot of questions about, is this tool right for me? So hop on a video and tell people what your tool is really great for. Don't be afraid of saying, my tool is really great for this segment of people, maybe not so great for this other segment of people, because you want people to come to your product trusting and knowing it is right for them, and jumping in there, getting their first win, and getting really excited to use your product or service. Another idea is to cut webinars into smaller bite-sized pieces. This goes along with that episodic content idea I was chatting about, in that, hey, if you have some webinars that you can kind of splice into maybe 5-minute videos, it might make it more likely that people are going to watch those, as well as just repurposing your content to drive more and more traffic to it. Again, sharing something once is totally fine, but you're probably not going to get a ton of eyes on it. So resurfacing it, resharing it, thinking about ways you can repurpose it is going to be the way you can get the most out of all the hard work and all the hard time you spent creating it. So brainstorm with your team, get people involved, and get excited about creating some of these content ideas. The last one here is actually something I like to talk about, because we are a social media automation tool at Edgar. So we are all about planning, automating your social media strategy so you can show up your followers consistently and get the best message out there. But there's another thing that you can do, and that's kind of this. You'd only believe it if you saw it: real-time posting. And video is really great for this, because automation and live posting together create the kind of marriage that is social media strategy. So even if you're automating your content, don't forget about jumping on there and doing some real-time posts as well. You know, even if it has nothing to do with your brand, like, hey, I see a cow crossing the street, or did you guys hear there was just a sea lion that was like walking through downtown San Diego recently? If you were there and you could snap a video of that, share that with your followers. They are going to appreciate you keeping them up to date, and they're going to appreciate knowing that in real time you're thinking about them and they need to see this. So even if it doesn't have to do with your brand, it's a great way to diversify content. This content is really huge for people getting to like it and share it, which is just a signal to the algorithm that people like your page's content, making it more likely your next post will be served up to them in their feed. Bonus points here, going a little bit further, think about, again, this idea of doing unscalable things. So with an automation tool, you might be saying, Megan, you are talking about making sure social media is to scale your business better. But sometimes we have to step aside and think about, how can your brand stand out from others? And that's typically doing unscalable things to stand out from your competitors. So some kind of ideas around this is maybe post a video response to one of your followers who asked you a question. It's so much better to kind of see that personal touch and say, oh, wow, that's really cool. They took the time to answer me and the time to talk directly to me. Or if you guys are participating like in a Twitter chat, ask your question or give your response in a video. Not everyone's going to do that. It's a medium that is strictly related, that is typically strictly related to just typing, just text there. But if your video pops up, it kind of stops people in that moment being like, oh, what's this? Something new. I'd like to click on this and watch it. So think about what no one else is doing, and every so often do something unscalable that'll really set you apart and keep that human connection with your followers. So jumping into a little bit of this here, one of the biggest things that I'd love for you guys to try to do is hop on some Facebook Lives. It might sound a little bit scary to do live video, but the thing is, Facebook Live is a great way to get the most reach on your posts. It is consistently what the algorithm is serving up to the majority of your followers. Something I heard recently from Social Media Examiner that I also loved is this idea that Facebook is kind of like a highway platform. And YouTube is maybe more of like a destination platform. So when you're creating Facebook Lives, what this means is people are typically scrolling through their feed. They are not stopping a lot. They are just kind of scrolling through, kind of just on their way to a destination. So Facebook Live should be utilized as short kind of 2-minute videos that people can stop, watch for a minute, and keep going on their highway journey. So if you are going to create a longer video, maybe like a webinar like this one, it's cool to jump on a Facebook Live, do a short 2-minute promo on how you're going to use. Creating these shorter Facebook Lives can then lead people to more of a destination platform like YouTube, where they have that time to sit down, where they're searching for stuff, and actually going to engage with it on a longer form content. So think about the ways that your actual strategy can incorporate some of these shorter videos into Facebook Live. And it's great to get that content out there as well, because think about the amount of time that goes into creating like a blog post or a long webinar like this. Facebook Lives are short, sweet. You don't have to prepare any sort of edits for them afterwards because it was done live. So it's just a great way for you just to get that content out there and get people noticing you on Facebook. It really has shown that it's 53% more likely for your video to show up in someone's feed if it's live versus not live. So doing a combination of pre-planned videos as well as live is really going to help boost your reach. And you can even start simply. I know a lot of the time we get scared about live videos, but it's a simple webcam. Some natural lighting works really well. And even just some iPod headphones work fine. You don't have to get all caught up in these excuses of, oh, but I don't have the right equipment. I can't do this. Think and start simple, and you'll see really great success from it. Facebook Live is also really great for getting to know your followers in real time. You can ask questions, you can prompt people to start chatting with you, and it's amazing to see that value when a community comes together and starts talking together live. So spend some time asking questions, getting to know your followers, and it really is that engagement on Facebook Live that makes it such a special medium and such a fun medium to play around on. And you can really drive a lot of people from your video to your website as well by including links in the comments, in the description of what your live is going to be about. But I would consider maybe realizing your Facebook Live, of course, will get views after it's been live, but really implore people to come live so they can join that conversation. A great way to do this is think about like a free gift you can give if people show up live. And this is for live participants only. You can advertise it as whether it's like a free month of software. If you guys have an ebook, it's great to share that sort of ebook link or some sort of tool goodie bag that you've created for them. And you can do this in a like landing page where you can say, hey, thanks for showing up live. Click this link here and be directed to download my guide on XYZ. And that can then lead to a landing page where you can collect people's email addresses. So it's kind of that 1-2 punch of getting to really build up your newsletter list, as well as getting that great reach on Facebook itself. So think about that value added gift you can give someone on lives to really implore your community to show up and participate in the live version of the video. Twitter. So Twitter is really cool because Twitter itself on its blog says video posts actually receive 2.5 times more replies than text posts, times more retweets than just text, and 1.9 times more favorites. So this engagement is huge. And this is something that you can simply do also to improve the responses and to improve the amount of content you can share within a tweet. So on Twitter, it's going to be a 30-second time limit, but think how much more you can say in 30 seconds to really help increase the amount of value you can share when you only have 280 characters to share it with. So video is huge on Twitter. It really forces you to stay nice and concise. We're all busy these days. So the longer the video is, oftentimes the less people are going to watch it all the way through. So Twitter's a great place to practice being concise, getting that punchy content right out there, hooking people from the beginning, not wasting any time sort of introducing these different concepts, but getting right to your point on the video. So tweets, again, it is kind of a text platform. The sort of consistency instances with video aren't on Twitter a lot. So it's a great way to get out by sharing video either in your responses to your followers or just video content kind of introducing the concepts you're talking about. Instagram. This is great to get started on, guys, because Instagram is actually a place where you can use your stories to share videos. Now, stories on Instagram are awesome because they only live for 24 hours. So if you're someone who's nervous about starting with a video, think how awesome it is that you have a platform where you can say, I don't want this to live on my perfectly beautiful curated feed, but I want to practice my video techniques. Jump on an Instagram Live and do a quick 15-second video. You don't have to memorize a lot for 15 seconds, so you don't have to worry about messing up your script too much there. And you'll know that'll be gone in 24 hours, so you don't have to worry if you are someone who's getting a little bit nervous about creating video. In the main feed, your videos can be a little bit longer on Instagram, about 60 seconds. So if you do have a message that you can share and you can kind of beautifully craft it out, take some time to edit it afterwards. Instagram videos are great. Going a little further with tools here. When we're talking about editing and we're talking about all these tools, I don't want you guys to tune out and get really nervous because it's not something you have to use. You can do it directly on Facebook, directly on Instagram, directly on Twitter, and it's a pretty simple process that these networks have. However, if you do have video that you want to edit, there's some great tools out there that you can collaborate and edit with that don't cost a lot of money. When we were talking about content creation ideas, one of the things we touched on was doing interviews or collaborating with people on your team or outside your company. Things like BeLive.tv or Ecamm Live are really cool tools you can use because they actually allow you to create a link that you can just send to people and say, hey, join me on this live, click this link, and it'll create this screen share where you can both be on screen at the same time. So really cool things. If your company already uses Zoom, you can lives and video content right on Zoom. It's cool too because you can kind of get that back and forth speaker voice recognition on Zoom, as well as sharing your screen a lot on Zoom as well. If you're scared of live to start, Facebook does have a new feature called Facebook Premiere, and this actually lets you schedule and pre-plan your lives. Now, of course, we want to make sure that we're never lying to our followers about what we're doing online. But Premiere is cool because it lets you record the video, have your message already set, and then it's played as if it's a live video. So this is great too if you're a one-person solopreneur because you can then focus on answering the chat questions. If you don't have an awesome colleague like Christina here who's taking care of that in this webinar, you can then do it where you're the one who's monitoring the chat. You're kind of prompting people to ask questions and replying to them while your live is playing through Facebook Premiere. Other things are looking for apps that help you go ahead and edit your content. There's some great ones out there like InShot or Storio, and these really can create some videos from just your iPhone and make them look gorgeous for Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And they're not expensive at all. A lot of them have free versions. So just maybe go into the App Store and start looking around at the different offerings and the ones that'll work right for you. Cool. So jumping into the last couple of slides here, we want to talk real quick about adding your video content to Edgar. So if you work with a video team or anything like that, or if you're a solopreneur yourself, learning the ways to edit your video is really time well spent, and you're investing in yourself to learn these concepts because video is always going to be important in marketing. It's valuable to know how to edit these longer videos into bite-sized clips for Instagram posts or stories, or into these shorter videos that will be perfectly curate a bunch of different concepts into one video. And then you can schedule these to go out to your community through MeetEdgar. So if you haven't tried scheduling Edgar yet, you're just going to click to add content. Now you can do this in a category that already exists, or a lot of our community members will create their own video category where you control when and where those go out on your schedule and dial in when you know people have the time to actually watch your video. So when you're creating this, you can create your own category or add video to any existing categories you have in Edgar. All you're going to do when you click to add new content is look to the lower left-hand corner beneath the text box and click on that little video camera icon. This video camera icon will allow you to upload video. We have all the handy dandy nifty specs right there, so you know which what you have to go ahead and keep the video length and max size for each network there. Once the video has uploaded to Edgar, there'll be a little preview that'll appear, so you'll know it's been uploaded properly. You can even click on that preview in order to play the video, so a really nice way that you can make sure it's looking well, and decide which networks you want to share it out on. So scheduling sure that it is going out to your followers at the time where they have time to watch it. And you don't have to stop your day if you're in the middle of a meeting, but you're like, oh, I know my video gets best engagement at this time. So schedule your videos, guys. Again, doing automation and real-time posts is where social media strategy is really going these days. So those stats on videos, they're here for you. Take a quick look. These slides will be available on our Skillshare account on LinkedIn after the webinar today, so you can always pop in and get these, but wanted to share them here real quick. If you do have any questions when you're uploading video to your Edgar account, support@meetedgar.com. Let us know. We can make sure everything's formatted properly for you. Guys, I cannot stress enough how grateful I am for you tuning in today, because getting started with video is something that was really scary for me at the beginning as well. I grew up pretty shy, so hopping on camera was not something I felt 1,000,000% comfortable with. And let me tell you, it's been an awesome journey, not only to get to know our product, create these videos for you guys, but also to offer this value-added content. Makes you feel really great being a part of a company producing this sort of tribe, these sort of followers. And I know that your followers will appreciate it as well. So leaving you guys here today with that confidence that video can be done by anyone, and you should really just give it a try. If you have any questions, again, support@meetedgar.com is where you can always reach us. The replays for this, if you want to share it out to anyone, will be at the same link. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram @MeetEdgar, and subscribe here so you don't miss any of our videos upcoming. If you guys aren't Edgar users yet, if this is your first kind of experience with us, we are also happy to offer you a free month of Edgar with this coupon Octopus Webinar 18. So when you're signing up, go ahead and grab this, get your free month so you can start scheduling those videos and adding value to your followers. Thanks so much for joining today, guys. Let us know, comment in the comments if you have any feedback about this webinar, about past webinars, or what you'd like to see from Edgar in the future. We would love to hear from you. Have a great rest of your day and happy posting out there. Bye, guys.